Google will be supporting an 8 series for 7 years. Whoa. Hey guys, Devon Digital here, and we here to talk about Google's event. This is going to be short. It's just a few things I just want to come and discuss with you guys that I've seen on social media and all the controversy and everything like that going on. So let's just get right into this video. First of all, let's talk about the 7 year support, right? Now, before this, we had, let's just put it on the table, right? Apple supports somewhere between 5 to 6 years. Sometimes they throw out an extra year of support on a device, but they're really kind of known for 5 years of support on their devices. And every so often, they will drop another device at another year, like 6 year. They give you like one more year sometimes, right? And they've been the king of updates and support forever. And everyone's been like, yeah. And then Google drops the Pixels and they give in 3 years and 2 years security. So 3 years OS and 2 years security. Samsung was like hold my beer, and they dropped like 4 years and 2 years, something like that, whatever. Either way, Samsung offered more years. So what the community do, they do what they do best. They all complained about Google saying you should support it more. You shouldn't let somebody out, do you, and this is your own software and all that stuff like that. And it was a whole lot of this and that to the third, going back and forth and saying this and saying that. And, cool, right? Like they should, right? They should support their own devices longer. I mean, stock or Android OS or I guess Pixel UI isn't that heavy and it should be able to be supported much longer. So after this event, Google was like, hold my beer, and was like, yo, we're doing 7 years. We're going to give you 7 years. And then on top of that, they confirmed 7 years of hardware repair. So they're going to make sure that they keep the parts for those devices for 7 years as well. So if you need to replace screens, batteries, or anything else that needs to be replaced, they will replace it, as well as giving you software updates. Same situation. People are still complaining. People are literally complaining. They complain that Google didn't give you enough, and now they're complaining that Google is giving you too much. Like 7 years is too much. Like that's crazy to me. There's a whole lot of good things within that 7 years that you can think about. Like now Pixels may hold their value much longer. Now they can be passed down to multiple people. And I mean, obviously you, the worst person that's watching this video, may not keep your phone for 7 years. I'm not going to keep mine for 7 years. There's no way. But there's people out here who can't afford these devices. Like I said before, just say that in 2027, that the Pixel 8 would be somewhere between like $250 or $300. Somebody may want to buy that. They want a Pixel, but now it's in affordable range and it's a flagship, right? They get it. And guess what? They got about 3 more years of support on it. That is a good thing. It's never bad. And now that the Pixels are being supported for 7 years, hardware and software, that means that they may maintain their value. The value of them may go up now. We don't know yet. I'm going to see maybe after a year or two. I don't know how long it's going to take, or they may never. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious to see if, Pixels are going to hold their value now much longer. But the 7 updates, you can't complain that they don't do enough. And then when they do more, you can't complain that they're doing too much. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And okay, we go back to the argument that Google doesn't support a lot of stuff. Yeah, I know, we know, right? But when it comes to software, they really haven't let us down with that as far as updates go, as far as their Pixel line updates and their Nexus and stuff like that. They really haven't let us down with that. Now, where they did let us down is like services and just basically their services and maybe a few apps that they've created, and then it just didn't catch. Well, it catched, but they just didn't market. The problem with Google is really their marketing. They do things and they come up with these things and they don't market. And then when they don't work, they like, oh, we got to ban it because it ain't working. But you're just not really marketing it. You're not really forcing it on people. Like Hangouts could have been one of those apps. The Hangouts actually was a really good app. It was the competitor to iMessage that we have today, which they're trying to do with RCS right now, right? Because 1, you can use your email. 1, 2, you can use your phone number. 3, let's see, it was already over the internet or whatever like that. So therefore you already had, all three of those things already in place. And then 4, you can actually set it as your default. And then 5, it was pre-installed on all the Android phones that came out already. There was on my HTC phones, my LG phones, it was pre-installed. So all Google had to do is hit a switch and make it actually the default messaging app instead of having the messaging app and Hangouts up there. And then boom, they could have built what Apple has built today with iMessage and stuff like that. I'm just bringing that up because that's a good example of what I mean. Like Google don't do the right moves with these services and these apps that we haven't. So they do, our trust for them is like really thin. But when it comes to the software updates and the promises for these phones, they really haven't let us down with that. And I don't see no reason for them to do this now when they're supporting the phones for 7 years or whatever the case may be. So people really need to just wait and see what happens in 7 years before you take judgment to them right here, because it looks like they're trying to get that trust back. It's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot because I personally, as I'm a Pixel guy, you guys know I'm a Pixel guy. And when Google announced certain things that seem cool, and I don't jump to them. I don't try to, like Stadia. I was like, yo, Stadia is not going to last. I just knew it wasn't going to last. Right. And look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't jump to these services. I don't really try to jump because I don't kind of trust Google with a lot of this stuff myself. So I stick to what I know that this is going to stay around. People started using Inbox a lot, and I was still using Gmail. And then I tried Inbox, and I was like, you know what? Let me go back to Gmail because Google's going to drop this. I mean, you got Gmail and Inbox. Why would they create 2 of these? Like, one of these is going to go, and it ain't going to be Gmail. So that's how I play my cards with Google. And I feel like a lot of people need to understand that this is just something that Google does. They're always experimenting with things. Samsung has done the same thing. I mean, even Apple has done the same thing too. But we know that Google is notorious for it. So with that being said, like, stop tripping about these 7 years of things, man. Stop tripping, man. Let's just see what happens because it doesn't make sense. All right, so I'm gonna get a little transparent here. I'm not trying to throw out some kind of pity party. So just hear me out, because this is the reality of being a YouTuber. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about this. And I feel like I need to talk about this. So let's talk about this. Now, with all that being said, I just want to say one other thing that I've decided to do as far as this channel goes. I'm no longer after the Galaxy S23 Ultra runs dry. I'm probably not going to cover Samsung anymore in this channel, at least with the slab phones. I'm probably going to get their foldables in the future, but slab phones, I'm probably done with them and not going to cover them. I'm going to fully commit to this channel kind of being like a Pixel channel, but I still will review other products up here because I actually love tech and stuff like that. And if there's another phone that comes along that I really, really love a lot, like the Pixel right now, I will probably switch over the channel to that or whatever, because I mean, this is really a tech channel to me, but I see that it's getting really expensive for me to continue to try to keep up with, all the new phone releases and getting them for you guys just to review them. And in the reality, when the camera's off, after I'm using them in my review period, I'm kind of going back to the phone that I'm using, which you all guys know that is the Pixel. And then those phones are kind of like sitting there. So it's like looking at $1,200 stacked up on a dresser, just sitting there. And, I'm not going to be one of those guys who get it for the 30-day return period and act like I'm, really using it. I like to give you a real, like user experience throughout the time that the phone lifespan, at least for that first year initially, because that's how long I like to use my devices before I upgrade, because I upgrade every year. So I'm going to like kind of commit to this. So I will be covering like the Pixel 7 Pro still. I'll be covering the Pixel Fold, and I'll be covering the Pixel 8 Pro as well. And anytime I can get my hands on any other Pixels, like the lower end ones, I will grab one of those too, and I'll cover that as well, because I do enjoy using Pixels. But when I put my SIM card in other phones, I don't really enjoy them as much, and I just sometimes just can't wait to put my SIM card back in my Pixel. But I do want to use the phone fairly enough to just give you a fair opinion how I feel about a lot of these devices and stuff like that. And I never really have anything negative to say about Samsung at all, because their devices are great, but they're just not for me, and that's okay. And I just want people to understand that's okay. I'm not telling you that Samsung phones suck or iPhones suck or anything like that. They're just not for me. And if you can't accept that, then I'm sorry. It's just the reality of it. So I'm just want to let you guys know that this may be more pixel stuff than anything else, but I will, and I promise you that I will be covering other things. Now, granted, if things change and my financial situation changes to a point where I'm getting review units maybe, or I'm actually making a good return on my YouTube channel to purchase these devices, I will. But other than that, I do got to focus my money on, my real life stuff and everything else that I got going on in my life, and stop buying stuff to be sitting around on the dresser and the counter and stuff like that. So just understand, I also got a baby girl in a way, and I just want to be a little bit more responsible with the finances. My wife is already getting on me about purchasing so many things already, and they're like, you got too much tech and they're just sitting around. She's right, they're just sitting around. So just want to let you guys know for the future that this may change. But like I say, if my position changes, this channel grows, or I find another stream of revenue to come in to cover my YouTube channel, then hey man, we in it, and I'm going to review every daggone device that I could possibly get my hands on. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.